I'm bored as hell. I'm bored out of my mind playing Marvel Future Fight, like probably a lot of you are out there. But rather than quit, I've decided to just give myself new goals. That's basically how I've maintained, along with obviously the channel and the sort of intrinsic reward that I get from uploading videos and like documenting my progress, my ideas, my rants, etc. I also just enjoy the game because it allows you to set different goals for yourself and then just execute on them whenever you're ready. And sometimes you execute on them a little late and you're like, oh, I could have done this sooner. And sometimes you execute on them a little early. For example, this is not for today's video, but I'm waiting to save up enough of a certain type of emblem data so that I can max out a certain emblem. I'm not going to tell you which one because I don't want to spoil the whole video. But I'm very close to having enough emblem data for a particular emblem, and I want to basically test out in a piece of content how much better that one emblem makes my account. And I've also been struggling in that content, so not struggling, but like it could be easier, right? And so making it easier and documenting how much easier it is, so people know like, oh, I should prioritize that, I shouldn't prioritize that, is honestly pretty fun for me. What we're going to be doing today, though, is something else. I've been saving up cards, a lot of cards. I was kind of waiting to do this a little bit later when I had the full set, but I'm only one card short after consulting with my alliance, and it's not so big of a deal to just tell you what that one card is that I'm missing rather than showing you, because I do technically own it. We're going to go ahead and convert all these cards here. We've got 8 mythics. We're going to convert them all to boost. You do this to save space. So I have 129 spare boost comic cards, and my alliance members are probably watching this thinking, Alex, why aren't you pumping that into your agent level, you absolute troglodyte? And I will pump this into my agent level later, because for now what we're going to do is we're going to craft this Ghost Rider card, this what if Ghost Rider card. And the reason we're crafting this what if Ghost Rider card is because along with the baby Spidey, excuse me, the White Fox, the Cable card, and then the last card that I'm missing, which is the Luna card. I need an extra copy of the Luna card. I'm gonna go ahead and make a PvE card deck. So up until now, I've only had one card deck, which is generally a PvP deck. There is obviously, there's a lot of overlap between a good PvE deck and a good PvP deck. Mainly because you still need a lot of attack, as you can see, over 120% on everything. You need a lot of, obviously need max pierce, right? There's a lot of overlap. There's similar cooldown, similar ignore defense, similar dodge, similar attack speed, similar crit rate even. Really the only things that this card deck, this list of 5 cards is missing, right? It's missing some crit damage. I wish I had like 10 to 20% more crit damage. It's missing, and then it's missing more attack, basically. It's also missing some of the activation effects, some of those procs there. On the right side, I have the energy attack proc and I have the HP proc. But for PvE, for hardcore PvE players, you want the energy attack proc, the physical attack proc, and the all attack proc. And the all attack proc, if you haven't guessed, comes from that Ghost Rider card. So the Ghost Rider card was introduced recently. But this card is now like a top 5 PvE card. So if you have it, or if you have a way of getting it, and you want to build like a top tier PvE deck, for those of you that don't know, PvE content is any content where you're not fighting against other players. So technically story mode, Multiverse Saga, Dispatch, Epic Quest, technically it's all PvE content, but most PvE content is here. World Boss, Shadowland, Dimension Rifts, and then you have Giant Boss Raid, Multiverse Invasion. Those are like the 5 PvE game modes. And presumably, the new game mode that's coming out, the zombie game mode, is also going to be PvE. It's described as a PvE multiplayer experience, but you're not fighting against other players. It's not Timeline, it's not Otherworld Battle, it's not Alliance Conquest. So it's stuff like World Boss, like Alliance Battle, etc. And so basically what very, very high-end players do, believe it or not, even higher end than me, so they'll have a deck like this and they'll set this to only being the PvE stuff, right? So they'll set this up to only being, let's see here, they'll set this up to be King of the Hill, Conquest, they'll set this up to be Otherworld Battle, Battle World if that ever comes back, Alliance Tournament, Timeline Battle, and then they'll press apply. And so it'll only apply to that content. Actually, I should take some of those out, right? Well, no, actually, that's fine. Oh no, the 2, okay, I did this wrong. Wow. The way that I would actually have to do it, because my first card deck is the one that is PvP. So basically, I would do it the other way around. I would set up all the stuff that is not PvP, right? And if that's on the second deck. This is kind of annoying here, but let me just show you, because I've never done this before, and I didn't actually consider it until just now. But you would have to do it something like this, where all of the PvE content, like that. So there. So this content now is applying for the PvP stuff, which as you can see is pretty short. And then this card deck would be everything else. And I'm going to basically be turning this into a 25% Pierce PvE deck rather than a free-to-play deck. For those of you lamenting the loss of my free-to-play deck, I originally made this with the hopes that people would be interested in seeing, you know, how these characters play out. These new characters, new uniforms, new tier 4s, with no Pierce, right? With 0% Pierce. Turns out two things happened. One, people didn't really give a shit. They're like, I don't really care. I just want to see the first review where you're just smashing everything. Second thing that happened, they released swords, they released emblems, they released all these other pieces of upgrade and buffs that you can't turn off. So even though I was testing characters with 0% Pierce and a free-to-play card deck that I put together in like 2 seconds, still players were like, oh, but you have max team-up collection, Alex. That's not really fair. That's not really free-to-play friendly. You have these crazy swords, right? Perfect swords. That's an extra 50% all attack. That's not really free-to-play friendly. And I agree with them. It's not free-to-play friendly, but there's nothing I can do, right? There's nothing I can do. I can't turn these things off. I'm not going to unequip them. It would cost insane. I'm like, right, I'm going to spend 3,600 crystals every video just to unequip my swords, right? And then I can't even turn this off. So there's literally nothing I can do about this, right? It's annoying. I do wish you could turn these things off. And if Netmarble's watching, allow us to turn these things off, because it's just more fun to test out different ways of doing things. And honestly, it doesn't cost you anything. It's just a little button that gets pressed to turn on or off. And it'll allow players to spend more time in game. And I know you want players to spend more time in game. So anyways, that's basically it. We're going to go ahead now. I want to show you guys, because I haven't crafted a card in a long time, right? I haven't crafted a card in a long time. So for those of you that are new or returning to the game and you don't know what this is all about, you're like scratching your head. What the hell is he talking about? You should first watch, and I'll link it in the top right corner. It's just pop up there. My most recent video ranking all of the cards in the game. I've ranked this one as a top 5 card, so you know for sure. But these are the kind of cards that you should craft. You shouldn't craft them with other P cards. You should just craft them with either spare normal mythic cards or with boost cards. And you basically craft them like this. You got to farm these cubes from Dimension Rifts, and there you go. We're going to see here what I get on this naked craft. Hopefully I get a lot of blue stars, but if not, that's okay, because we have fodder to reroll. And I'll maybe do like 1 or 2 rerolls to show you guys what the rerolls look like. But the main thing I want to point out here, that was a good roll. The main thing I want to point out here is that you want to fully craft. You only want to fully craft good cards. So you don't want to fully craft like Loki 1, Loki 2. You don't want to fully craft, like, you definitely don't want to fully craft this shit, right? You don't. You don't want to fully craft the Gwenpool card in most cases, right? You want to craft the good cards, because obviously this costs a lot. This is 5 mythic cards. It doesn't cost a lot, but it costs. It's not completely. It's free, but it's like it still takes time, right, to farm these things. So this is 5 mythic cards every single time. You can get a lot of mythic cards now from farming. You can get a lot of mythic cards from story mode. That was a perfect roll, actually, attack speed. You can get mythic cards from dispatch. You can buy them with gold. So there's a lot of ways. If this is blue all attack, this is going to save me a ton of time. Oh my god. Wow. So I got super duper lucky. Holy shit. I just rolled the best possible stat there, and it's blue. That's amazing. So what you would do, wow. I feel good. I feel big, but not in the sense of like gaining weight. Okay, so you craft a card. Now you want to do 2 things. You want to re-roll those green stars to blue stars. That's the first step here. But you also have to decide whether or not you want the other stats the way that they are, right? Because this energy defense could be max HP. This mind resist could be crit damage or all defense, right? So on and so forth. Every single one, right? So you have to be careful changing the normal options or changing the crafted options. You want to change the crafted options. You got to be careful, because you have to select the options, and you want to lock the ones that you don't want to lose. So I definitely have to lock the all basic attack. I don't want to lose that. I actually am going to lock the attack speed as well, because that is quite nice. The other ones, energy defense, mind resist, if I want this card to be really good, I'd probably leave them unlocked. But again, it depends on the kind of player that you are. It depends on how many spare premium cards that you have. I know that the more cards you lock, the more stats you lock, you can see it costs 100 crystals right now. The more stats you lock, 150, 300, the higher the cost goes. Don't worry about that, because think about it. What's more expensive? An extra 200 crystals or a premium card, right? Just do the math in your head, right? Even if I was locking every single stat except one, which costs 500 crystals, right? Would you pay... It's not even 500, it's 400. Would you pay 400? But let's just say 500. Would you pay 500 crystals to buy a random premium card from the card shop? Absolutely you would. You would press that button like 10 times, because that's insane value. So don't look at this and think, "Oh, the crystals are more valuable. I'm just going to boom. I'm just going to spin it." Because there's a 33% chance that you hit the right color, and there's a 66% chance that you hit the wrong color, which is green or red. Just in case you're wondering, green and red, absolutely useless. So you're just going for blue. Now, I'm a whale. I have a lot of access to premium cards. I can gamble for more, etc. I don't have a lot of use for them. I already have, as you can see here, 3 cards fully crafted: the Spider-Man, the White Fox, and the Cable. So I'm not really starting from 0, right? I'm already 3/5 of the way there. I'm already 60% of the way there. So I don't have to worry as much. But for you guys, if you're a first-time player or you're like a returning player, consider locking the mind resist if you were in this situation, and consider locking the energy defense, and just try to get those 2 green stars to be blue. Doesn't matter what the stats are at first, just get them to be blue. Then later on, when they're all blue, if some of the stats are good and some of the stats are bad, or even if all of the stats are bad but they're all blue, you have 25% pierce, then you can go back one by one and re-roll them. Now, I got really lucky here. This could have been cold resist or some dog shit. I got very lucky. But even if it was cold resist, I got some news for you. 2% pierce or 5% pierce is way more than 10% all attack. Way more. Like, I saw someone on Discord asking, they were like, how much is the first 2% pierce? Is it like 20% attack, 30%? The first 2% pierce, if you don't have any pierce, is like 100% all attack. Maybe 200% all attack. It's such an insanely high number. It does so much for your damage that you can't really describe it as, it's equal to 20% or 30% all attack. No. It's equal to more all attack than your account can actually have. Genuinely, it's that powerful. The first 2% pierce, because you don't have any at that point, right? Obviously, when you get up higher, the difference between 22% pierce and 25% pierce, for most content, you can't really notice it, which is good, because it means you don't need 25. You can settle for like 19 or 20 or 22. But that first like 5-10% pierce, oh my god, you're gonna feel like you're injecting steroids into your account. Anyways, enough yapping. I'm gonna go ahead and roll these stats here, see what colors we get. We're just hoping for blue with good stats, and we'll see what we get. Okay, so we get 2 blue stars there. Crit damage, ignore defense. That's absolutely perfect. I have to say here, those almost could not have rolled better. Those are amazing. So we're going to do one more roll here, and this time I am going to lock every single blue stat because I love all of these stats. I do need a little bit of ignore defense, and the other stats don't matter for a PvE deck, right? Physical defense, crowd control time, lightning resist, fire resist, those don't matter. You could argue maybe lightning resist matters if you have like a 6-star Thor artifact and you really want Thor to be your best character, but I wouldn't be spending extra P cards and re-rolling for one stat for one character, right? If you're re-rolling one stat that's going to affect all of your characters, like you're changing, this cold resist or this mind resist to all attack, that's going to benefit all 270 characters. But if you're like, oh, I want some extra fire resist because it converts on Ghost Rider's artifact, bro, that's one character. One character. Don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. We're going to reroll this. This is 300 crystals. Let's just see if we get them blue, it's perfect. We just need them to be blue. Okay, they're not blue. They're both red and green. Okay, we'll do one more just so you guys can see how the RNG is. We'll do one more here. And again, we're just locking them all. But mostly what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to obviously build up spare cards to craft. You're going to have to, you're going to have to build up spare P cards, and you're going to have to build up these card crafting cubes by farming dimension rifts. So don't ignore dimension rifts. You absolutely need them. Again, we're just trying to get these to be blue now. I'm just trying to show you guys RNG, not always your friend. There we go. Oh wow. Okay, so that card rolled perfectly. Wow, this card is perfect now. I don't have to touch it ever again. That's pretty crazy. I got very lucky, probably obscenely lucky. Probably people are angry with me. That's fine. So now what you would do from here is you would re-roll the card itself, because two things. One, we know this Ghost Rider card has a proc, right? It has that all-attack proc that you really, really want. So you do want to see that all-attack proc. For this, you're not going to use mythic premium cards. You're just going to use regular cards. And it's just going to roll the stats at the bottom, and it's going to re-roll the quality. Here's the thing. You are re-rolling for two things. You're re-rolling for that proc effect, absolutely. But then the other thing you're rolling for is the highest possible quality. And the advice that I have for you is for almost every single card, unless it's got the proc, you can just settle for the highest quality that you get. So if this was almost any other card, right? If I hit 7 quality, it's going to be better than hitting 6 quality with the right stats. Because when the quality goes up to 7, it bumps up the orange stats and the yellow stats at the top. It bumps them up to the highest possible roll, which is 11%. So instead of having, 9.5% all attack and then 9.5 on the energy and physical, it's all 11, which is very, very good. So yeah, I'm not going to reroll this too much because it just takes way too long, but that's my advice. So see there, I rolled it with the correct, one of the correct stats that I need, which is the proc. The rest of it doesn't really matter. This doesn't really matter. Like, this could be anything, to be honest with you. And then this one, I guess you would want crit rate or crit damage, but it doesn't really matter. This Ghost Rider card is honestly pretty easy to roll because you're just looking for 7 quality with the proc. The other stats don't really matter that much, especially since we know 7 quality is so difficult to roll. And if you, have never tried this yourself, there's plenty of videos out there of people spending hundreds of cards re-rolling and not getting what they want. I'm kind of hoping that I'll pull something. No, okay. Anyways, well, we got super duper lucky. I'm not going to complain whatsoever. But anyways, for the vast majority of cards, basically, unless it's this Ghost Rider card or it's this new Avengers card, those cards need the activation effect, that green effect there. They need them. So you want to settle for 6 or 7 quality, or 5 or 6 or 7 quality with the proc effect, right? For every other card that you could be crafting, like the Luna card, like the White Fox card, Baby Spidey, Cable, Guardians of the Galaxy, you actually just want to first settle for the highest quality that you can, 6 or 7, but you want to aim for 7. After that, once you hit that 6 or 7 quality, when you have a lot more rerolls in the future, then you want to start rerolling for very specific stats. But keep in mind that if you're trying to roll a card that has 7 quality and it has 3 exact stats, I believe the odds are like 1 in 600 or 1 in 6,000, something like that. They're very, very low odds. So, you're gonna go through a lot of pain before you hit that. So just keep that in mind. Anywho, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be equipping this in the future on that second deck. I just have to get everything else lined up, and then it'll start happening. But yeah, I just want to fill you guys in on that. That's kind of my next goal. I'm just trying to hunt down the Luna card. For those of you wondering, I'm not spending money gambling for cards at this point. I'm just building up the premium tokens and then just spending them every month when I get 600. And you farm them from the Battle Pass and from GBR. So that's the only way that I'm getting premium cards at this point, because I spend all my event tokens on CTP chests so that I can craft brilliant CTPs. So that's what I'm doing. Anywho, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Good luck to you guys out there crafting your cards. Hopefully you get even luckier than me. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.